Hi, I'm Mel,
And I'm Janelle.
and this is the Murder Mamas.
The Murder Mamas.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It is Thursday.
It's always Thursday here.
Always Thursday. Almost the weekend.
Almost the weekend.
Only one baseball game scheduled.
Yes.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
If only they could have done this last weekend
Yeah.
instead of this weekend.
Yeah.
Then it would have been a real Mother's Day.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I am right.
How was your Mother's Day?
Great.
Good. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really sick on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. It was like congested,
Yeah.
just passed through the whole family.
Yeah.
It was like, felt like I got hit by a bus. I like slept most of the day actually.
Oh,
And then Sunday I woke up, I was like, wow,
you feel great?
I'm like a new person.
Yeah.
Let's go do things.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Go.
So we did.
Good.
Yeah. It was fun.
Good. We had baseball, so
It was baseball.
it was baseball.
Fun, but
Fun, but baseball.
baseball.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You want to dig right in?
Dig right in.
Dig right in.
I've never heard that before.
I don't know.
Let's dig right into that.
We're gonna dig right in.
All right. That's a new thing.
Okay.
Let's dig right in.
Okay. What?
Okay.
All right. Tonight we're gonna talk about David Parker Ray.
David Parker Ray.
David Parker Ray. David Parker Ray was born on November 6, 1939 in Bella, New Mexico. His parents were Cecil and Nettie Ray.
I like that name, Nettie.
Nettie, yeah,
I think
that's
cute. Although
Yeah.
the Nettie pot. Like
Yeah.
the thing for
Oh,
boogers.
yeah. Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about that. Never mind. I don't like the name Nettie.
That's true. Yeah. I wonder if that was invented back then. Probably not.
Oh, well, I mean, doesn't say how old she was when he was born, but probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Due to their poor financial condition, the family lived with his mother's parents on a small ranch where David grew up with his sister Peggy. His father was a drunkard who often quarreled with his and lashed out at his mother. At Mountaineer High School in Mountaineer, New Mexico, he was bullied by his peers for his shyness around girls. So his dad was not around a lot, and every time he was just beating up his kids and the mom. So not a great guy.
Sounds like a terrible guy, but also what a shitty thing to bully someone about. Like,
I know.
you're shy, loser.
I know. How many shy people, tons of shy people out there. Like, oh my God. I was super shy as a child.
I couldn't imagine.
Super shy.
You? Shy?
I wouldn't even, like, I couldn't even talk and do a presentation. I would talk really, really loud like this.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. These are not things that are shocking.
Yeah.
You're not shocking me.
Yes.
You're not
Yes.
the most, what's the word? Boisterous person on the earth.
No, I used to be when I drank a lot, but
Well,
that was back then.
that's not the real you.
It's not the real me. It's not me anymore.
Exactly.
All right. After he completed his high school education, he worked as an auto mechanic. He also worked in the Army, from where he eventually received an honorable discharge. He would go on to marry 4 different times and have 2 kids, both girls.
You know, a lot of serial killers are in the military.
They are.
Just
Yeah. We've been
running
doing that.
through the
I was
list
thinking that
of
too.
everyone we've done.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of them.
A lot of them ended up in the Navy or in the Army or something. Yeah.
Was there a World War at this time? No.
Vietnam, I think.
Probably 70s.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, maybe he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, probably not.
So,
Okay, now we're going to talk about his accomplice.
Sandy Handy.
Cynthia Leah Hendy, in 1960, the future kidnapper and sexual criminal had a troubled childhood. Raised in an impoverished neighborhood on the outskirts of Everett, Washington, Hendy grew up with an alcoholic mother, a bartender who would routinely let her daughter go hungry, which is really sad. I can't imagine.
I always struggle so much because I feel bad for the young version of them, like the child.
Yeah.
Cynthia Hendy.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Cindy Hendy.
Yeah.
But, like, the grown-up Cindy Hendy is a
No.
piece of human garbage.
Right.
So it's hard.
It is hard. But I wonder if, like, her mom actually cared about her. If
She didn't. I mean, she let her go hungry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if she did, I wonder
like how different it would be.
If it would have turned out differently.
Well, I guess we always talk about this.
Yeah.
It's like the nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
You know, like, would people be serial killers if they got therapy as kids?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Can't know.
Yeah, I guess we will never know.
Maybe that's why there's so few serial killers nowadays.
Maybe.
If
they're all in therapy.
Exactly. Their parents, their millennial parents are putting them in therapy.
That's funny. Quote, she would never give the kids a dime, a childhood friend recalled. All of us were hungry. We'd be lucky enough to get a can of tuna fish out of her. We'd go over after school and Cindy would have to beg like hell till her mother threw out a can of tuna fish just to get rid of us.
Okay, but also, like, why is her mom being expected to feed all these neighborhood kids?
Yeah, I don't know.
That to me seems like a little weird.
Right.
So like some context there would be helpful. But
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. As a child, Hindi saw her mom get beaten by an abusive boyfriend named Dick.
No?
Hindi's mother eventually married another man when her daughter was 8. Hindi was around 11 when he crawled into her bed and attempted to rape her. He convinced his wife he drunkenly mistook one bed for another. I mean, I don't think so. That's
awful.
You don't.
That's like such a terrible environment to put your kid in.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Awful.
Yeah. Hindi's mother took her new husband's side and the two kicked Cindy out of the house at age 12. Left on her own, Hindi dated drug dealers, prostituted herself, and became dependent on alcohol and cocaine.
It's hard to blame her.
Well, how do you survive at 12?
You don't. You can't get a job.
No, that's hard.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. She enjoyed aggressive, near-violent sex that included rape fantasies.
So that's less forgivable.
Yeah, that's a little bit... She's a little young for this.
Yeah.
So, one partner recalled she once said that they should, quote, rape somebody, maybe a prostitute, unquote. Yeah. She also gave birth to 3 children with 3 different men, and like her mother, she struggled to take care of them. When her youngest child turned 10, Hindi gave up on raising them and sent them off to live with their grandparents.
I'm assuming the fathers.
I'm assuming
parents.
The other ones, yes. Then in 1997, fleeing convictions on grand theft and drug charges, Hindi moved from Washington to the town of Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. I don't think I'd want to live there.
Just truthfully, because writing the name of Truth and Consequences it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. Truly. Yes. In New Mexico, Cindy Hindi worked at a state park where she met David Parker Ray. The two quickly bonded over their shared violent sexual fantasies.
Do they not do background checks?
No, not back then.
That's like not a thing?
I don't think it was back then.
When is this? The 70s?
The 70s, I think. Yeah.
No. She's 37.
Yeah,
60?
She was born in the 60s.
So that's 1997. You're telling me that almost in 2000, they're not doing background checks?
I don't know.
The internet was invented.
That's true.
Like...
Well, not everybody does.
A state park?
I don't...
The state of New Mexico doesn't do background checks?
I guess not. Because she worked there.
It's just like, to me, that's just like mind-blowing.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Like, I do background checks on people.
Yeah. I used to do background checks on people all the time.
It's like, this job is like nothing.
Yeah. We used to have competitions to see who had the longest rap sheet in our office. Because I worked at a...
yeah. Trucking?
No, yeah, the recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. I won with like 38 pages.
38 pages? How are they not in jail?
Who knows? That's a good fucking question.
38 pages?
38 pages. And that just lists things. Like, it's just,
yeah.
You know, it's not like
drawn out.
It's just list after list, or, you know, conviction after conviction after conviction.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then they're like, can I have a job? And I'm
I mean, jail's supposed to rehabilitate.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of hard to find a job when you have 38 pages of a background.
Yeah, that's a long background.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think if they had background checked her, then maybe we wouldn't get to the end of the story like we get to.
Maybe we wouldn't.
But we don't.
Nope.
Or they don't. So here we are.
Though Ray was 20 years her senior, 37-year-old Hindi began living with him soon after she moved to New Mexico. Quote, when I moved in, he started to tell me all the women he had murdered. He said at least one a year for about 40 years. Excuse me. Cindy later recalled. She wasn't sure if she believed Ray's story at first, and she said she was both nervous and intrigued after hearing it.
Nope.
Yeah, no, nope. I'm out.
Nope. See you later.
Peace out.
Bye. Please don't ever feel comfortable to tell me those kinds of things.
No.
Bye.
No.
Bye.
Hindi would state that Ray had bragged that he knew how to kill someone and bury them in a lake. Quote, the thing to do is cut them down to the belly, scoop out their guts, fill up the chest cavity with cement weights, and then use a balling wire to wrap them up, she said. It's actually kind of smart, if you think about it.
I mean...
Cut out their insides and then put cement in there. They'll never float up.
Never say never.
Well, big cement block in the middle of the ocean, so if they do float up...
It's a lake, not an ocean. Right?
Yeah, but I would do an ocean.
Don't tell people. Don't tell people.
If it were me, it would be an ocean. It wouldn't be a lake because it's just the ocean is vast.
Now you know what to do when I go missing. Yeah. I mean, that's terrible. Yeah. I hate everything about that. And again, same statement. Please don't ever feel comfortable enough to tell me those things.
Right.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. No. They seemed to feed off each other, and Cindy got an opportunity to let go of all of her inhibitions, said reporter Yvette Martinez. Soon, Hindi began to routinely help Ray pick targets, starting with an acquaintance. It was March 1999 when Cynthia Hermelo was working the streets of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Little did she know the next job she would take was almost her last. Cynthia had a set of rules for working the streets to keep herself safe. The first rule on her list was not to get in RVs. So what we're doing here is I'm ending, like I'm telling you, the last person that they got, the one who got away.
Okay.
And got them caught. And then we're going to talk about some of the other ones after this. So I'm going to tell her story first.
Okay.
Just so you know. So this is
so they only know each other for 2 years?
Yeah, they're
give or take?
Yeah. They don't know each other for very long.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the last one.
And this is the last one.
Thank you for telling me because I would have been super confused.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. Well.
I love how you said I know. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know what was going through my head that day, but I broke all my rules right there, Cynthia said. When we get to the back of the RV, he pulls out a badge and throws handcuffs on my wrists. I was like, wait, no, this isn't right. You ain't a cop. David Parker Ray then played her a tape. And I'm going to read you what the tape, not all of it, but some of it.
You.
Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disoriented and scared, too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while, at least, you need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It is very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is being created July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years.
I fucking hate this disclaimer.
Yeah. If at a future date there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded. What? I mean, okay, thanks for letting me know.
It's just such a strange thing to these are our policies and procedures, and when they get updated, we'll give you a new version. Like, what? Sir, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, no.
I do not care when this was made, and I do not care if this is still your policies and procedures from 6 years ago. No. I do not care.
But he did create them on my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Now you are obviously here against your will, totally helpless. Don't know where you are at. Don't know what's going to happen to you. You're very scared or very pissed off. I think I'd be very pissed off. I'd be one pissed off person. If someone kidnaps me, and I'm going to be pissed.
Just like trying to think of like what sort of an animal that would be.
Yeah. I'd be a lion. Be very upset. I'm sure that you've now already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose, and you know you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's going to happen next. You probably think you're going to be raped, and you're fucking sure right about that.
It's just so condescending.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's so... That's what would piss me off. Like, I don't want to listen to your condescending fucking tape.
No.
I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't want anything else to happen to me, but, like, let's start with this. I don't want to hear this.
Don't want to hear it. Yeah. So you probably think you're going to be raped, and you're fucking sure right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've got between your legs. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got. Because basically you've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. Sound kind of far out? Well, I suppose it is to the unintended, but we do it all the time. It's going to take a lot of adjustment on your part, and you're not going to fucking like it a bit. But I don't give a big rat's ass about that. It's not like you're going to have any choice about the matter. You've been taken by force, and you're going to be kept and used by force. What all this amounts to is that you're going to be kept naked and chained up like an animal to be used and abused at any time we want to and the way we want to. And you might as well start getting used to it, because you're going to be kept here and used such till the time we get fucking tired around. So that's just part of it. It goes on and on and on.
I think I've read the transcript like a long time ago. Yeah. And it's like, it's just so long and unnecessary. Yeah. I'm like... I like just the ego and like the everything around it. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate it.
Quote, the way he talked, I didn't feel like this was his first time, Vigil said in a later interview. It was like he knew what he was doing. He told me I was never going to see my family again. He told me he was going to kill me like the others.
Oh, yeah, he did tell you.
Yeah, he did tell you. While the wheels of the RV were turning, the wheels in her mind were too. Cynthia started thinking of her first escape plan. Quote, I unscrewed the cabinet where I was handcuffed to, and I remember getting up on my feet and kind of crouching down, Cynthia said. I was like, as soon as the RV got slow enough, I was going to hit the door. Once she was no longer handcuffed to the cabinet, she waited for her chance to jump out, with each second seeming longer than the next. Then Ray does something that she didn't expect. I don't know why he had to slam on his brakes. It made me tumble, Cynthia said. I was loose. My hands were tied behind my back, but I was loose. Cindy Hendy is the first to notice Cynthia standing up and free. She came to the back with a gun. That was the last thing Cynthia remembered before everything went black. She would wake up to the sound of Ray's voice on a recorded cassette tape. As Cynthia reached for a door, something stopped her dead in her tracks. Ray shouted out a name she didn't give him. Quote, I was like, literally, my fingertips were touching the door when he yelled, Cindy, Cynthia said. That freaked me out because I didn't give him my name. I gave him another name. Ray was talking to the woman who would be later charged as his accomplice, Cindy Hendy. Quote, a girl came out from behind a curtain in there in the RV, Cynthia said. She shocked me with the cattle prod. The more pain I showed, the more hurt, the more he got off, Cynthia said.
Ew.
I know, that's so sad. Cynthia said she would be strapped to the chair for hours being tortured. The rest of the time, a dog collar around her neck kept her chained to a pole by a bed. There was also a padlock attached to the dog collar to make sure she couldn't escape.
God.
I know.
Also, just like a quick aside, I didn't know that Cindy was a nickname for Cynthia.
Well, yeah.
I never considered that.
No, I didn't either. Yeah. But as Ray continued his twisted game for pleasure, Cynthia started playing her game of survival. She said she started studying her surroundings and listening to the conversations between her two abductors. Quote, when they would take me from one room to the other or from one spot to the next, I would see the rules posted all over, Cynthia said. One of them was, don't trust a chained captive. According to Hindi, while the two had the victim in their clutches, Ray would do most of the torturing while she stood by and watched. Quote, I had no remorse at the time. It was like slow motion. I don't think I had any feeling one way or the other, Hindi recalled. The two of them used whips, medical instruments, electric shock, and sexual instruments to torture Vigil. Before her torture, Ray would play the cassette tape with a recording detailing exactly what she would be forced to endure. On the cassette, Ray explained that she was to refer to him as master and the woman with him as mistress, and to never speak unless spoken to first. He went on to explain exactly how he would rape and torture her. On the third day, while Ray was at work, Hindi accidentally left the keys to Vigil's restraints on a table near where she was chained while she was left in the room. Seizing the opportunity, Vigil lunged for her keys and was able to free her hands. Hindi attempted to stop her, but Vigil stabbed her in the neck with an ice pick when she approached.
Good job.
Yeah, no shit. She ran out of the trailer naked, wearing only a slave collar and padlock chains.
Oh my God.
I know. How scary would that be? For the first time in days, Cynthia is outside and free. Her first thought was to run, but she didn't know where she was. I just ran up the road and a car was passing me, Cynthia said. She rolled up her window. She left it cracked and I was begging her for help. By this time, Cynthia was covered in blood, running in her bare feet and naked. That terrifying image was likely too much for the stranger who drove off, leaving Cynthia behind.
That's like the Survivor story.
Yeah.
Whose name is escaping my brain right now.
Yeah.
Where like people drove away and she's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I only had one arm.
No, she doesn't have any arms.
Oh yeah, I had no arms.
I had no arms, I'm naked.
Yeah,
covered
like
in blood.
I get it. Have you ever been in a situation where you have like that fear and like running from it? Like obviously not like this situation.
I have, yeah. A little bit. Not to this extent.
I'm thinking of like the closest thing I have, and it's like being robbed at gunpoint and just like...
You were robbed at gunpoint?
Yeah, when I was a teenager.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know.
Wow.
And just like, it was on the street of my parents' house, but like at the end of the street.
Yeah.
So it was like not that late at night, like 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
And I just remember the fear of like running from the end of the street to my parents' house.
Yeah.
And like that fear feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Like I need to get away from that as fast as possible.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Obviously not to this extent, but...
Right. But still, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
By this time, Cynthia was covered in blood, running in her bare feet and naked. That terrifying image was likely too much for the stranger who drove off, leaving Cynthia behind. I read that already. In the distance, Cynthia would see a trailer with lights still on. I just ran in their door. I didn't even knock, Cynthia said. Inside the home, there was an elderly woman washing dishes. Her husband would walk in from a back room. Quote, she was really calm and she kept me calm, Cynthia said. Then her husband came in and said, I heard a noise. And he sees me there, naked, bloody, and his eyes, he froze in the doorway. That image, which is still vivid in Cynthia's mind, was not enough to spook the couple. Instead of chasing her off, they became Cynthia's protectors. The woman called 911 and told her husband to help the stranger who was standing in their living room covered in blood.
What angels.
I know, right?
I've heard so many stories where, like, people get out of these situations and they just, like, run to the first house that has a light on. There's a story from, I think it's Wichita, Kansas, where, like, some guys, we should cover it, some guys, like, break into the house of this, like, it's, like, college roommates.
Yeah.
And their girlfriends, basically, and, like, rape and kill them.
Oh,
and one of them survives because she has a hair clip in. And when they shoot her, the bullet ricochets off the hair clip.
Oh, my God.
And she, like, they all get run over. And she just, like, lays there and waits.
Yeah.
Until they drive away.
Wow.
And gets up and runs to the first house that has their porch light on.
Yeah.
And the people that houses she ran to said that to this day they still leave their porch light on every night.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like,
yeah. No kidding.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Wow.
It's a very interesting story. We should
yeah.
cover. Sorry.
Yeah. That image, which is still vivid in Cynthia's mind, was not enough to spook the couple. I read that. Instead of chasing her off, they became Cynthia's protectors. The woman called 911 and told her husband to help the stranger who was standing in her living room covered with blood. After arresting Ray, the police gained a warrant to search his home and trailer, and what they found shocked and disturbed them. Ray's, quote, toy box contained a gynecologist-type table in the middle with a mirror mounted to the ceiling so his victims could see the horrors delivered upon them. Littering the floor were whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spread bars, surgical blades, and saws, as well as numerous sex toys.
God, the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror is horrifying.
I don't want to see it.
No. There was a wooden contraption used to bend over and immobilize Ray's victims while he and his friends would rape them.
Friends?
Friends, yeah. He would just have friends come over.
Because
his toy box was a van, just so everybody knows.
Did the people think that the women were there?
I don't know.
Like on their own free will?
I'm not sure.
Or were they like...
They just gave a fuck.
Hey, Ray, this is kind of fucking weird, man. Where'd you find this girl? Or was he like, this is a prostitute and I'm paying her?
Probably that, yeah. I don't know. But yeah. In the trailer of the Toy Box Killer, the police also discovered a videotape from 1996 showing a terrified woman being raped and tortured by Ray and his girlfriend. With the publicity surrounding the arrest of David Parker Ray, considering the disturbing circumstances of his crime, another woman came forward with a similar story. Angelica Montano was an acquaintance of Ray's who, after visiting his house to borrow cake mix, had been drugged, raped, and tortured by Ray before being left by a highway out in the desert. There she was found by police, but there had been no follow-up on her case.
Why do you think he let her go?
I don't know.
Like, because she was an acquaintance, maybe?
Maybe. He just felt bad killing her. I don't know. Or maybe he...
Was that before Cindy Hendy came around?
No, no.
She was already there?
Yeah, she was already there.
Weird.
Ray would often use drugs that would induce amnesia and memory loss in his victims, like sodium fentanyl and...
Phenobarbital?
Yes. So they could not properly remember what had happened to them. With this stronger case, with 2 victims testifying to the crimes, the police were able to press Hendy, who quickly folded and began telling what she knew of the murders. Her testimony led to the police to discover that Ray had been helped in the abductions and murders by his daughter, Glenda Jessie Ray, and friend Dennis Roy Yancey. So his daughter is now in the picture helping him out.
Gross.
Yes.
So gross.
Yep. In exchange for a plea deal, Cindy turned on David almost immediately. She confessed to
She seems like someone who would do
right?
that.
I know. She does. Cindy. She confessed to investigators that David Parker Ray had told her about 14 murders that he had committed and where some of the bodies had been dumped. She spoke of the different ways that he would torture his victims, including putting them into the wooden contraptions that bent them over and immobilized them while he had his dogs rape them.
I'm sorry, his dogs?
Sometimes friends come over to take part as well. Yes. Yeah.
The poor dog.
I know, the poor dog.
And the poor girl. Like,
the poor girl. I know. It's sad all around.
It's like so many different onion layers of just fucking awfulness.
Yeah. He's a fucked up guy. She confessed to investigators that David Parker Ray had told her about 14 murders that he had committed. No, I am?
Mm-hmm. Oh. The dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yancey admitted to participating in the murder of Marie Parker, a woman who was abducted, drugged, and tortured for days by Ray and his daughter before Yancey strangled her to death in 1997. Ray had a video of another victim, Kelly Garrett, which dated back to 1996. Garrett was ultimately found in Colorado alive after police identified a tattoo on her ankle. Garrett later testified that she had gotten in a fight with her husband and decided to spend the night playing pool with friends. On July 24th, 1996, Ray's daughter, who was friends with Garrett, took her to the Blue Water Saloon in Truth or Consequences and roofied the beer she was drinking. Garrett managed to make it to the parking lot when Ray hit her from behind, knocking her unconscious. Ray took her to his trailer and attached a dog collar and a leash to Garrett. Garrett awoke but blacked out several times during 2 days of torture and date rape drugs. During this time, Ray noticed she was breathing and slashed her throat open.
Oh.
Thinking he had killed her, Ray dumped her on the side of the road near Cabello. She was later treated for injuries at a local clinic. Neither her husband nor police believed her story. Her husband believed she had been cheating on him the night that she was attacked. He filed for divorce and Garrett relocated to Colorado. She was later interviewed on Cold Case Files about her ordeal.
It's so sad. Her story particularly always sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Because it's so sad. Like,
very sad.
No one believed her.
No. He slit her throat.
Like, did her husband think she slit her own throat?
Yeah, because people don't do that.
Or was he just looking for an excuse?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like an excuse to divorce her?
I guess.
That sounds horrible, but
it does, but yeah.
I don't know. In my wildest thing, like, I couldn't imagine Chris and I getting into a fight and then him coming, like, him being found with a slit throat and me being like, nah, you were cheating, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
It's just...
No.
So sad.
And people don't slit their own throats. Like, they just don't do it.
It's so sad for this poor lady.
Yeah.
That nobody believed her, not even the police.
No.
It's so sad.
It's gotta be, like... Yeah.
But at least she gets some...
At least she's alive.
Alive and some, like, vindication.
Does she?
Is that the word I'm thinking of? Well, like, I was right.
Yeah,
I wasn't cheating on you. Like, this is my ordeal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor lady.
Poor lady. Due to the effects of the drugs, Garrett had limited recollection of the events over those 2 days, but remembered being raped by the toy box killer. These drugs, as well as the socioeconomic standing of many of the women involved, made it difficult for their testimony to be readily accepted by jurors. With 3 living victims and ample video, audio, and forensic evidence, you would think the case of the toy box killer was an open and shut, but Ray's first trial actually ended with an inexplicable hung jury. While Hindi admitted that she had taken part in the disposal of several bodies, the police were unable to find the remains, so Ray was prosecuted only for kidnapping, torture, and rape. 2 jurors refused to convict him, one dismissing his behavior to the New York Daily Times as simply, quote, rough sex, despite testimony and evidence that the events weren't consensual.
What?
Yes. Yeah. The case was forced to be retired, and the second trial also ended bizarrely when the judge died only a few days in. The third time was the charm, however. Ray was convicted of all counts and sentenced to 224 years behind bars. The police believe Ray was responsible for anywhere between 40 and 60 deaths over the decades of his crimes, but without the bodies, the state couldn't prosecute those murders. So they never found a body, or any of his bodies.
That is insane.
Never. Not one. Jesse Ray received a sentence of 9 years, and
That's not enough.
No, and Cindy Hindi was given 36 years in prison.
That's not enough.
No. In their investigation,
what about the other guy, Yancey? Does he get like nothing? Because he was involved in just the one.
Did I not? I guess I didn't put what he got. I don't see it in my notes. I don't know. In their investigation of David Parker Ray's trailer, police found evidence of several more killings, including diaries written by Ray where he detailed the murder of at least 50 other women. Despite the evidence, the authorities were unable to create cases from them. Though Hindi and Yancey both identified areas they believed Ray disposed of these bodies, police found no human remains in any of these locations. It is believed that a serial killer who put this amount of effort into horrifying toy box and who killed numerous women over many years would likely have a greater number of victims. The many unidentified personal effects and jewelry found in his trailer also pointed to a greater number of victims for the toy box killer.
In the 50s, right? Like, that's what they think? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
not the years of the 50s, but, like,
Right.
amount of people murdered in the 50s.
Yeah, in the 50s or 60s. David Parker Ray died of a heart attack on May 28, 2002, a mere 3 years into his sentence. Bullshit. And a little tidbit, to create his trailer, Ray allegedly spent upwards of $100,000 on torture devices and tools. Reportedly, Ray constructed elaborate contraptions to confine his victims, such as a fur-lined coffin and a makeshift pillory. He also crafted devices to electrocute his victims and others to hold them in place. In addition to the medical instruments and sex toy, Ray's box contained elaborate locks and pulleys to prevent his captives from escaping.
Yeah.
And that's the story of the toy box killer.
Where did he get $100,000?
I don't know.
I'm suspicious.
I am too. I don't know. My references were David Parker Ray's transcript,
Ugh.
the Wikipedia, blog Morbid and Terrified Details About David Parker Ray, the blog The Toy Box Killer, History Daily, The Toy Box, The Story of David Parker Ray, and The Horrifying Story of David Parker Ray, The Toy Box Killer by All That's Interesting.
Good job.
There they are.
Awful.
Yeah. He was a shit stain.
I mean, they're all shit stains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But torture is...
It's the sheer number of them. And, like, the so many people who never get the closure. That's what always gets to me.
Yeah.
It's like...
They never know whether...
The family never knows.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it always gets to me.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
I hate the no closure thing.
The no closure thing is hard. Yeah. Yeah.
And, like... How did so many people know what he was doing and not say anything?
Right? I don't
like,
know.
I guess, like, birds of a feather flock together.
I think so.
You know? Like,
well, his friends were coming over to rape him. I mean, I think they knew what they were doing.
They had to have known what they were doing. Like,
they didn't give a shit.
Of course they didn't care. I mean, his daughter was helping him. Yeah. That's just, like...
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's awful.
You did a bad job, sir. Raising your child.
Could you imagine that being your dad?
No. Oh my god.
What does he look like?
He's not attractive, really. Not that attractive at all. But anyway, you can find us on Instagram at
The Murder Mamas.
And Facebook at
The M Mamas.
And Twitter at
The Murder Mamas.
And Gmail.
TheMurderMamas@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You always make me go in
your brain.
In my brain hole there to get everything out.
Yep.
It's hard. Okay. Man, he's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for that.
Yep.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Send us emails.
Send us emails and
Twitters
and
DMs and Facebooks and all the things.
Yeah. And subscribe.
Comment,
and rate and review.
And read them.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.